Good afternoon, everybody. Lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I sincerely appreciate this opportunity. It has been a long time since I presented in front of a PGA section, so I'm a little nervous today, especially with Chuck Cook being here. How can you not be nervous? I remember, and Chuck, I know you remember it, Chicago. It was you, me, and Stan Utley. It was my first time I ever did a presentation in front of the PGA section, and I think I was about 12 times more nervous then than I was now, but I'm still pretty nervous in front of you, Chuck. I've got to say. Guys, I've got to tell you, I'm getting old enough now to get to a point where I'm aware enough to be able to appreciate when you're in the presence of a true legend. And today, Chuck Cook, thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Great job, Chuck. Thank you for sharing. Today, I'm going to talk about a lot of anecdotal evidence, anecdotal experience, stuff that I've learned not through fact, not through research, just by standing out on the lesson tee and giving lots of lessons. And I looked up the true meaning of anecdotal, and it says not necessarily true, not overly reliable. You know, it's not facts and it's not research. It doesn't sound that good, does it? It doesn't sound that good. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put that to the test. We're going to put that to the test. And so, I've got a little bit of toll. I heard you guys have some tolls in the area. So I've got a little bit of toll money here. We're going to put this to the test, okay? Toll money. To anyone who can tell me, you can use any information source you would like. Anyone who can tell me what year Butch Harmon was born. Go for it. Go for it. Who wants some toll money?
52.
No.
1940.
You have a resource available to you. Yes. That's where I'm going. I don't need guessing. I need a real answer. Thank you very much. Some toll money. There we go. Thank you very much. How did you do it? Thank you. Oh, it's amazing, right? Guys, full disclosure, okay? I was going to ask, can anyone tell me what year Chuck Cook was born? But I wasn't sure the internet went back that far. I still love it. And actually, I will say this, Butch Harmon is older than Chuck. Because I looked at Chuck's birthday as well, and he's older than you. He's older than you. You look much better than he does, Joe. He is. But guys, here's the name of the game, okay? When Chuck gets up, when I get up, it's not so much about the facts. How exactly should it be? What has been researched? There's certainly going to be some of that information that I'm going to share with you today. But when you go and watch, anyone here gone to watch Butch Harmon teach, like shadow Butch Harmon and just try to learn from him? Anyone done that? Nobody. Anyone gone to watch Chuck Cook teach? A lot of smart people in this room. A lot of smart people in this room. Ladies and gents, I've got to tell you, if you get that opportunity, and I'm telling you right now, you have that opportunity, knowing this guy and how awesome he is. If you want to go and watch him teach, just say, hey, Chuck, could I come out, the next day you're teaching? Deal? Can anyone come and watch him? Sure. Exactly. Come on, let's go. Okay? Take advantage of that opportunity, and what you're going to learn when you go out on that lesson tee and you watch other teachers teach, you're not learning the facts, you're learning their experience, okay? And you're learning, because ultimately, as golf instructors, what do we do every single day? We guess. We guess. What do we base our guess on? Our experience, our knowledge, the facts, the research, but also our experience. And the better the information we have available to us, be it fact or anecdotal, the more accurate our guess is going to be. And that's a little bit of how I'm going to talk today is, let's see if we can find ways, and perhaps I can share some information with you that will help you to be able to guess more accurately. That's really where we're going. Technology, I know everybody can read, I'm not going to read these to you. I've got one slide that is almost an exact duplicate of what Tony put up. I was like, hold on, did he know what I was going to put on my slide? A golfer's primary instinct, that's big. Chuck spoke about that perfectly. Thank you so much, Chuck. I was very nervous when I was watching Chuck's presentation because there's nothing worse than a previous presenter going, it's this, and then the other presenter says, no, it's this. So thank you, Chuck, I'm safe. The club face, this is going to be the main one, the club face and its role in shaping the golf swing. And then got some fun stuff for a few rules of thumb and business making in life, because ultimately we're all people and we get one go on this planet. Let's make it a good one. Let's make it a good one. Okay, technology and teaching. I use technology. Anybody here not use technology? Everybody does. That's fantastic. Okay, it's amazing how much that has changed. A number of years ago, I was giving a presentation of a similar nature to the Australian PGA, and during lunch, I had a lady come up to me and she said, Andrew, you know, all this like TrackMan stuff and all that, she's like, that's massively overrated. And I said, really? She said, yeah, you know, I don't use it. I said, how did you get to this seminar today? She said, I drove my car. I said, why don't you come on horseback? And she said, thank you very much. Point taken, okay? It's advancement. Technology has made me a significantly better teacher. It doesn't matter what technology you're taking advantage of. Get your hands on something and you will start to look at teaching so differently. Chuck talking about, you know, drawing the dry erase lines on the screen. I remember that back in the day, and we would draw the line, you know, on the shaft at a dress with the big old VHS tape, and the player would swing and the club would come down over that line and we'd go, over the top. Got to fix that. Okay. How do we know better now? How do we know better today? Complete nonsense, right? Except what we were talking about then. But today we have better information, and we are so much further along in the last 20 years, certainly relative to the previous 100 years. We've come a long, long way, but if you look at it in terms of a baseball game, I think we're like in the bottom of the third. We've got a long way to go. We've come a long way, particularly in the last 20 years, but I think we've still got a long way to go in understanding the unique individual standing in front of us. How their body moves, how they prefer to swing the club, and then we take our best guess and go, this is the course of action. Technology helps me determine what the problem is. I love that. I love that. A player gets down, it's not often, you know, someone's swinging 16 degrees to the left, and they're hitting these big old pulls and peel slices out there, and you're like, you know what the problem is. But it really does help to communicate to the student, hey, you want to hit draws, right? I love it when a student comes to me and says, yeah, I've never hit a draw in my life. And then I go, you know, I read this amazing article in the New England Journal of Medicine the other day. Anyone read the New England Journal? I have, okay. And they found this incredible DNA strand that indicates that people cannot hit draws. And as soon as I tell them that, they go, no, it's not true. I'm like, exactly, you can do it, right? You can do it, come on, let's go. Anytime I get a student who's never hit a draw before, I'm like, oh yes, it's going to be a good day. Because they're going to be very happy. Ultimately, there is no physical predisposal to hitting fades or slices. If we can learn to manipulate the physics in our favor, then the golf ball's going to start to do what we're looking for it to do. Okay, and technology is going to help me with that. Once we get going, once it's shown me, hey, Andrew, this is the problem that this golf is having, and I'm not really referencing how they're swinging, I'm referencing how the club is communicating with the ball to cause the ball to do that big old slice, okay? Once we start to move and I've prescribed a few changes, then I'm using the technology to go, this isn't working. The number is not moving. But as soon as I see that number start to go in the direction that I'm looking for it to go, bingo, we're onto it. For example, if I'm trying to get someone to strengthen the face, and I'm talking about the trail wrist, get that wrist, feel it more under the shaft, the whole deal, and nothing's happening. Then I'm going to start talking about the club face. I'm going to take my attention away from the wrist and I'm going to go more to the club face. If that doesn't work, I'm going to go somewhere else. But I've got to keep going idea-wise, diagnosis-wise, until I find something that really works with that student so we can start to move the numbers. Okay, we've got to do that. I can quantify how they do it. I had a guy in a golf school the other day. He started the week 8 down with driver. 8 down. Do you think he had that 10.5 cranked up to about 12 as much loft as he could possibly get it? Okay. Look, there's no paint left on the bottom of the driver. That's weird. I wonder what's going on. 8 down. That might give it away. And so by the end of the week, he was at 0. Okay, he's swinging big time left. He's hitting down 8 degrees. We got him kind of going a little bit more this way, but he got to 0. I said, okay, we're 80% of the way there. We've got some more to go. Let's keep going. Okay, it's going to help me quantify the upgrade, and it gives this player a primary objective. I know when I'm leaving here, I'm not working on this and this and this and this. It's like, I got to learn to hit up more. You know what happens? We've all seen this. How many golfers have we taught, particularly when chipping and pitching? This. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey, what you been working on? Just trying to stay down. How long have you been doing that? Like 4 decades. Okay? If golfers do one thing for a long time, they get pretty good at it. Okay, and as soon as I can get this golfer, hey, let's get that attack angle starting to go this way instead of that way, and I can give them that as their primary theme, and they're going to go and work on just that. They've got some tools, then they can start to move the needle and start to get that one thing to start to change. Because guys, I'll say this, I think most of us here teach, I like to call them normal golfers. Like, not superstars, not tour players, just normal golfers. Anyone not teach normal golfers? Okay.
Sometimes. Handicap.
Limbs and hands and okay, that's very different. Okay, that's very different.
I worked at a military base, so
Okay. And that is, you've got to really be creative. I've had the challenge in doing that. You've got to really be creative to come up with some innovative, different ways.
Yeah. One thing I learned real quick, better than play safety right way, got to move the ball back a little bit, but these safety can't off to the right side.
Yeah.
So you move the ball to the side.
For sure.
If it's your left leg, then you got to move the ball forward.
Yeah. It's almost like if you do this little drill, they always get the ball more forward.
Yeah.
They always get the ball more forward. Yeah. I teach normal golfers like most of you do most of the time. I am no smarter than anybody else in this room. I may have been teaching a little bit longer than some of the people in this room. But all I'm going to do is share my experience. Okay? I really did want to say that. The best technology, you know what happens? Hey, Andrew, what do you recommend? I'm looking to get some technology. What should I get? Every person you ask is going to tell you that what they have is the best. Fact, okay? That what they have is the best. Foresight, amazing company. The other orange company, amazing company. Okay? They all do a tremendous job. Do your homework. Ask a lot of different people. If people ask me, I'm going to go, do you want it indoors or outdoors? And if you're ever going to use it indoors for 1 minute, then the answer is easier. What do you think the answer is if you're going to use it indoors? Thank you. Sorry, what'd you say? If you're going to use it for any amount of shots indoors, there's one company to use. Who's going to say it? Thank you. Okay. Just so, because you know the TrackMan guys like me. Okay, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. You guys said it, and that is the truth. Okay, that is the truth. The best technology. See the way I danced around that? Okay, very nice. Okay. 2 non-negotiable factors. I start off every 3-day golf school with this. I don't show them this, I just demonstrate this. Okay? I thought, because it's kind of small, me demonstrating it up here would be hard for everybody to see, so we're going to check it out this way. In my kitchen, okay, the black dot on the face represents the sweet spot. Check this out.
Ground or very level, zero attack, coming into the golf ball, and when it impacts the ball, you can see the black dot indicating the center of the face is not being utilized. That ball has to be struck on the bottom of the face. But as soon as we get some shaft lean, notice I'm leaning that shaft forward, and we have the club head traveling down to a certain degree. Now all of a sudden, that sweet spot has that center of the face has much cleaner access coming into the back
Of the golf ball. Guys, there's a lot of different ways to deliver a club quite nicely to the back of a golf ball. We must get our students to understand that we need this golf club in that position at impact with this end. Don't say the golf club, this end traveling that way, 4 shots off the ground. It is a non-negotiable factor. Okay? I like to say it this way. And know there's a couple of different lofts on a 7-iron. Most 7-irons are somewhere between 30 and 34, depending on if they're a player's club or a helper club. Just go whatever you want, 30 to 34. When Scotty Scheffler hits a 7-iron, he's taking his 34-degree lofted 7-iron and turning it into 19-ish degrees of loft at impact. He's going minus 15. Okay, now you don't swing a 7-iron at Scotty Scheffler speeds. You don't need to go minus 15, but I need you to go minus something. And it's not 1. It's more than that, okay? I need you to go, we got to lean the shaft something. Have you ever thought about that, guys? This right here, these are non-negotiables. The club must be traveling down if you wish to have good strikes in the golf ball. The face must be de-lofted if you wish to have good compression and strikes on the golf ball. But think about this. As we get a little older and more mature, and our speed starts to dissipate, how are we going to get the ball up if we're still doing minus 15? We'll just hit an 8-iron. But that's going to make it go kind of shorter, right? You see what I'm saying? And you need less, you can't have minus 15. And you can't hit down as much because, yeah, but you're old. See what I'm saying? That it's like, and really, the more I think about it that way, the more I start to understand why, if you're Tony Finau, you have this cool ability to, yes, strike the ball really well, yes, hit the ball really far, but if you're Mr. Hamicamp, it's almost like the game is much harder for you because you cannot de-loft the club as much and you cannot hit down as much to get as good a strike. So you've got to try to keep a little bit of loft off the face and try to not hit down too much to give the ball a chance to get up in the air. Okay, please don't tell your students that. Okay, don't tell them that, but it's something that we need to think about. Okay, is as the speeds go slower, so they cannot now deliver the same amount of loft because now there's nothing to get the ball in the air. Okay, what causes the ball to go really high? Can anyone tell me? What makes the ball go high? Spin, that would be negative. Loft, loft is number 2. Thank you, speed is number 1. Okay, why can Bryson hit it higher than anybody in this room? Because the thing it might take off at the same height as me, but that thing just keeps going on forever, and that's how it gets so high. And so our students are looking to hit shots that can get up with that new 5 hybrid that they got, and actually land and stop on the green. And so if they don't have speed, they've got to have loft, and we've got to get them to try to de-loft it. But you see how it's a little tougher, right? It's a little tougher for slower speed golfers to A, hit it well, and B, get it high enough to stop it on the green. 2 non-negotiables. You can fade it, you can slice it, you can be, kind of have your hands up, you can have your hands down, you can do a lot of different things, but the club must. Now, we've all taught someone who's like 2 degrees up with a 7-iron, and they can hit every now and then a good shot, right? They can hit, just ask them to do it again. It's not happening. Okay, it's not happening. Okay, we're looking for that repeat action. It must be down, and it must be. I've started to use this term more because some golfers don't really get it. I'm starting to use down lofted instead of de-lofted. Down lofted, get the loft down. I think that paints a nice picture for people to understand that. Hey Tony, here's my slide that you copied. Hey, it's amazing. Thank you. Golfers are looking for this. And I most probably could have put next to better shape just / accuracy. Better shape and accuracy. Every golfer is looking for all or one of those. And they're going to wrap all of that stuff into a nice bow when you say, so what can we do for you today? I'd like to be more consistent. And ladies and gents, I know that we can rail against the word consistency because they don't really want to just do exactly the same thing every time. But we know what they mean, right? Okay, we know what they mean. We don't need to go, well, you're not really looking to be consistent because there's downhill lies and drivers and pitching wedges and all these different clubs, and if you're really consistent, then you're not, you're not any good. But we know what they mean. They're looking to hit good shots more frequently. They can all hit good shots. I get what they're saying. I think we get what they're saying as well. It may not be the perfect term of the term consistency. Anyone know what other term we use a lot in golf instruction that is blatantly incorrect? Compression. What really happens to the golf ball when we hit it? Thank you very much. The ball deforms. We're going to go out and work on deforming the ball today. That sounds amazing, right? I think we'll stick with compression. Okay, we'll stick with compression. The ball doesn't really compress. We deform the golf ball. Okay. So something to consider here. Better strike. Down off the face. Better shape. Better accuracy. Face. Better trajectory, face. Better distance, face, as well as speed, okay, and delivery. But face is part of that, right? Face is part of that. Here's an interesting one. Better distance, better energy transfer. Which club in the bag transfers energy best to the golf ball? What's higher than 1.5? Thank you. Putter. I heard a few putters. Putter transfers the best energy to the back of the golf ball. Okay? So which club puts up the highest smash factor in the back? The putter. The club with least loft is going to transfer energy the best. And that's why I say face. Guys, spin loft. I think we all know what spin loft is, right? Attack, dynamic loft. What's the horizontal version of spin loft? Thank you, face to path. Face to path is spin loft horizontal. Spin loft could be this way or that. More spin loft is vertical, face to path is horizontal. Okay, just a little different way to think about it. Okay, but definitely better distance is part of face. I said a number of years ago, I said to the engineers at Ping, I said, okay guys, I've got a question for you. I see a lot of golfers swing a 7-iron at 80 miles an hour. I said, what's the maximum distance at sea level that a golfer can hit a 7-iron? So then they start in, because I know they've got the information, right? They've got a massive treasure trove of data that they've tested everything. So they said, well, what kind of iron? A blade. What's the loft? What's the standard loft? 34. Let's go with that. Attack angle, 4 down. What's the pack? 0. Okay. Out the middle of the face, 2. Okay. How far do you think a golfer? And this was at Phoenix. I'm not sure what the altitude that it is in Phoenix, but it's not that high. I asked for sea level. They said, how about Phoenix? I said, cool. Okay. 80 miles an hour. So capped at 80. How far do you think the max carry is? 172. With a blade, 172. And Phoenix is not that high. It's not Phoenix in the Himalayas, okay, which I thought it was based on that number, okay. It's 172, which is eye-opening, right? And I said, whoa, that's a lot further than I thought it was. How? Dynamic loft. Get the loft, the more the loft comes down, the further the ball goes, and eventually you get to a point where the loft gets so low that the distance starts to shorten. Dynamic loft. Okay, now, hitting the golf ball 172 with a 7-iron, swinging at 80, using a blade and all those other parameters is not overly feasible or functional, because I think the ball is going to fly lowish and come in there a bit hot. But it's nice for us to know as coaches that when you see somebody swinging close to 80 and you see 132, it's like, whoa, we got work, we got some space to go here. Okay, we've got some space to go. I would say this, if you've got somebody with normal golf clubs, and let's understand there's 2 different kinds of irons out there, okay? Those face flex trampolines that all the companies make, are going to make it, the potential is for 8 to 10 longer than that with a 7-iron. But if somebody's got normal irons, they're more than capable of being able to hit the golf ball, carry 165 yards, 65 yards. Okay? And if they're not getting that, we've got to start to go, why? What can I do to help them get that? So face, that's why I go better distance face there. Okay, a golfer's instinct. I actually checked this out on my website. I wrote a book in 2008 because, much like I'm sure many people in this room, my revenue stream kind of went away. Remember 08? Remember, okay, I was like, oh, I got a lot of time, playing a lot of ping pong, waiting for a lesson to book. Why is there no one booking? So I said, I got to write a book. I got to sound and seem smart, okay, which I still didn't manage to fool anyone. But I wrote a book, and in order to promote the book, I needed to create a website. So I created a website, and I started writing blog articles. Okay, well, ultimately the website proved to be far more popular than the book, and it all worked out, okay, it all worked out. But I posted, this isn't from then, but I posted the exact same article I saw on November 12th, 2014, a decade ago. That just tells you that a lot of the information you're hearing is not new, and it's been done before, and people have thought about it and spoken about it before, but sometimes we need a good reminder. And a golfer's instinct is going to be illustrated here, I believe. 3 shots. The tripod, the camera on the tripod doesn't move. The ball gets teed up in exactly the same spot for all 3 shots. The target is the same for all 3 shots. Standard shot. Grip the golf club as you normally would, set up, and hit 3 balls only to the target. Okay? Number 2, and I would encourage you to try this if you have some time. Try this for yourself. Shut the face 90 degrees. Take your normal grip, get yourself set up, and now go. You have 3 balls to get this, 3 shots, 3 swings to get this golf ball to go to the target. You can aim and set up and do anything you want. And you try to make it go to the target. 3 golf balls. And I believe if you give yourself more than 3 tries, we start to really learn how to adapt. But I wanted to keep it fairly organic and quite like on the surface. I didn't want to practice learning how to make it go straight. I just wanted to see what I did right off the bat. So that is the 90 degrees shut setup there. This is, as you might imagine, the opposite. 90 degrees open, take your grip. Now you've got to set up and try to make this ball go to the target. Okay? And what I'm trying to understand is exactly what Mr. Cook shared with us earlier today, that he learned from Harvey Penick, is a golfer's primary objective is to make the ball go to the target. And they might come over the top and they might early release and cast this thing and hang back like a maniac. You know what they're trying to do? Give themselves a chance to hit it to the target. And that's why they're doing it. And if we can learn to alter the face and get it where we want it, now they're going to continue to do and react and respond in the same way. Hopefully not the same way as before, but they're still going to try to get the ball to go straight to the target. And hopefully they're going to start to do some more of that. They're going to start to get onto the front foot, open up, get a little side bend. So watch, here we go. And I'll slow these babies down. I'm going to let it play a few times, guys, so you can... I heard Tony saying the follow-through is the most misunderstood part of the game. Okay? I want to go back. I'm going to play that one more time. All right. Well, I hit it and then I hit pause. There we go. Okay. Same objective. Use this club to make it go to the target. Here's impact at each of the 3. And I really do think there's I'm sorry if I'm blocking. I really do think there's a tremendous amount we can learn from those 3 pictures. Okay, and this is not about like, hey, look at my swing. Not at all. Okay, I think if you took anybody with a semblance of golfing instinct, I think they would start to do this very quickly. And just as an FYI, if you take someone who's never played golf before, I don't think you would see this because they haven't developed the instincts necessary to find a way to make the club face point at the target. But if you've got someone who's played a little bit, they will start to display a lot of what you see here. So here the face is 90 degrees shut. I see this, head staying back, trail side really staying back and getting low and under. I'll show you down the line in a second. This one, typically the player is a lot higher. They tend to stay back more. And keeping in mind, because I shifted my aim and I didn't adapt the camera to where I was aiming, the hand and ball position is a little bit skewed, so keep that in mind, okay? But one thing I do notice here, right shoulder, high. I'm sorry, I just lost the name here. Right shoulder is high, and what's this right arm? Long right arm, trying to help this toe get over, climb over on top. Target right under my nose. Again. I gotta show you this. We can do it. Maybe not. Guys, here's something I noticed when I really studied that, and I wish I could just stop it exactly where I want it. And as Chuck indicated, you know, you can change someone's grip by changing the club, right? And that's exactly what happened. I changed the club and effectively changed my grip. But in this one, where the club face was twisted really strong, at the top of the backswing, my left wrist has a lot more cup than normal. Okay? What is this person doing? Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to normalize that face. And this is like 3 swings, okay? It's definitely, there's no thinking like, ooh, I've got to cut my wrist and try to get the face more open. It's just like, get this club face to work for you. And that's exactly what our students are trying to do. They just don't know that their club face is sideways. They're doing everything they can with their body, with their path, to try to make the golf ball finish at the target. But this one, a lot more cup. This one had actually quite a bit of the old Jordan speed. Okay, quite a bit of that look there. Impact. I think this right arm here is quite telling. This trail arm quite telling in each of those pictures. The golfer's instinct is to get the face at impact to cause the golf ball to go to the target. And when I'm using my technology, I have swing direction. I'll show you in a minute. I have swing direction. I have club path. I have swing direction. I have attack angle. I have club path. I have swing plane. And then I have club face. Why do you think club face is way down the line? Don't get me wrong, club face is massive, but why do you think club face is on my technology way down the line? Exactly. Okay, well, you could say that the face affects the other 3, and those other 3 are what they are so that the face can be fairly neutral, or at least have a chance to be positioned to cause the ball to go to the target. And so I'm not at impact super worried about the face when I'm making a change at impact. I'm worried about the effects of the face on the shape of the whole golf swing, because that truly is shaping the golf swing. That truly is shaping the golf swing. And we see the effects of that face change right here. The mighty club face. 70% of golfers measured by John Sinclair. Anyone know who John Sinclair is? If you don't, you should. Okay, John Sinclair, lovely, great information, lovely guy. 70% of the golf tour players he's measured have some degree of cupping at the top of the backswing. 90+% of the tour players he's measured at last parallel have 0 degrees of cupping to bowing at this point. Please note that Mr. Haverkamp cannot do that. He cannot do that. We got to try to get him more of this, okay? Or at least to feel like that face is up to the sky. Any way we can. And Chuck said you can do it 2 ways, and I 100% agree. It's grip and it's wrist angles. Which do you think can have a greater effect?
Grip.
What's this? Neutral grip, okay? 90 degrees shut, almost 90 degrees open. Try to move the grip 90 degrees. It's tough, right? Okay. I really do think, and I used to think it was the grip, until I told a guy one day who had the strongest grip I'd ever seen, and this guy could slice it like a maniac on the way down. And he was literally breaking his left wrist on the way down because he had so much cup. Okay. We can change the grip, and oftentimes that's a necessary evil. But let's know we can make a far greater change just by altering our wrist conditions. That to me is the Mac Daddy in changing and strengthening or most often strengthening, but sometimes weakening the face. Okay, so this is my man Nate. Okay, Nate is a lovely guy. He's a young guy. He is a super smart guy. He's sold like a couple of companies, and he lives in New Jersey, and he can play like 4 days a week, and life is good for Nate. Okay, and so Nate has come to golf schools in Savannah with me like the last 4 years. And this is when Nate first came. I think it was probably 21 when Nate first came. Okay, this is his first offering, and I don't think he had many lessons up until this point. But this is Nate's initial go. Delightful, isn't it? Okay. We've all seen it. We've seen Nate before. Here it is down the line. Guys, we're going to play it a few times. Okay. I'm going to play it a few times. Because there's something urgent that I have to show you. Almost got it. Okay, just before that, something I'm seeing, and it really does hold true. Okay, if like 2 frames up, can I just? Okay, 2 frames up. If you ever see the club head, the club face, can you see how it's like underneath the shaft there? I'll go. Okay, you see how the face gets underneath the shaft? If you see the thing underneath the shaft, you just stop. Just stop, okay? There's nothing else to do. You gotta get the face stronger. Okay, if that thing is getting underneath the shaft, let me have one more go and see if I can. Come on, Nick, cooperate. There we go. There we go. That's the one. Okay. You see that face underneath the shaft? That is a death blow to any kind of ball striking, energy, distance, sizzle, compression, whatever you want to call it. All of those factors are compromised because of that one thing. Okay, because of that one thing. And I think about it this way, like if there's the shaft, okay, on the way down, if I take my hand and I run my hand up the shaft and I run into the head, things are good. If I do that and there's nothing stopping me, we got a problem. Okay, just you have one job from there, one job as soon as you see that picture. And the primary culprit there is, okay, radial. When the club goes up, your wrists have cup. And also, I'm going to play it one more time. Watch his right arm through impact, okay? Trying to just get this toe, please get over. Please help. Watch his right arm. Amazing, right? Oh, there it is. So, here's the evidence, okay? Here's the evidence. This is what I look for with my technology. A dead giveaway. Attack angle like nothing. I call it, and sometimes you'll have people, like you look at Nate's average for the 4 or 5 shots. Whenever someone comes to me, 4 or 5 7 irons, 4 or 5 drivers, okay, we got that. And just in the beginning, before anything is said, just, okay, we've got this. This is ground zero. And I'll often see golfers with this attack angle light, I call it. Okay, attack angle light. You see he's got good speed. He's got good speed, but he needs to be hidden. He has the speed to be able to afford to hit down more. He's got to be hitting down more. Okay, so as soon as I see that, I go, okay, well, I've seen the video and I'm like, okay, well, I got that. This is another giveaway. Swing direction gets big time to the left. Guys, when the face is open, and I'm talking right-handers, okay? But when the face is open, where is it going to point? To the right. Where are we going to swing to counter that? To the left. Okay, to the left. It's not like you have to go, ooh, I feel like I've got to swing left. Just instinctively, you've got to start to swing that way. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to give the face an opportunity to come around, the toe to catch up. And so the attack angle is 0. The club path is, yes. This is the big issue here. Big issue. Dynamic loft, way, for that speed, way too much. Okay, way too much. I like to think of things from the perspective of the golf ball. And the ball doesn't know this says 7 on the bottom. Ball says, whoa, I see this guy's swinging like a pitching wedge at 87 miles an hour. That's pretty cool. I'll fly accordingly. Okay? It doesn't know it's a 7. It says, nice pitching wedge, Nate. This is a 7. Yes. So Nate's going like -2. Yes. Yeah. He's going -2. Big problems. And you can see, you know, seriously for that kind of club speed, it's not tourist speed, but it's not slow. That's nowhere near where it should be. Okay, carry wise. That's nowhere near where it should be. God, and ladies, I do apologize because I keep saying guys. Okay, sorry, I'm just group speaking. Okay, I see you. I acknowledge you. Have some numbers tucked away in your head. TrackMan, sorry, some company just put out like tour. So you guys know how I feel. Okay, both companies are awesome. Some company just put out this TrackMan updated numbers. Okay? From 15 years ago, they had the numbers, and I had all those numbers in my head. Then they put out new ones, and it was just a slight bump and a little faster. But if you like people to always hit an 8-iron, like know the LPGA and the PGA numbers with an 8-iron, just learn them. Okay, and it's nice that, well, this is really not right. We're way off here. We should be doing that with some club delivery numbers and some pertinent stats. I teach a lot of 3-day golf schools, and here's a little story. Yeah, I gotta watch the time, sorry. I don't want to be like Chuck, get in trouble. I do want to be like Chuck, but not like that. Okay, not like that. We've had, over the last couple of years, about 400 people come through our 3-day golf schools. And we teach 6 at a time. And every week, we ask the same question. When we play golf, we have 4 basic shots. Tee shots, approach shots, short game shots, and putts. And they're all important, but I ask them to think globally and not personally. Which is the most important of the 4, and which is the least important of the 4. Okay?
It's based on who you ask.
No, the facts do not care about who you ask. Okay? Everyone's going to give a different answer. Who votes for most important shot is driving? Okay? Most important shot is approach. Who says approach? Most important shot is short game. We got 1. Most important shot is putting. We got a bunch. Okay? Here we go. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. These are the facts, and this is Dr. Mark Brody. Every shot counts. It is the best, driest, most textbook-like golf book ever written in the history of golf. Every shot counts. Every one of us should read and not necessarily learn the book, but really understand the book. True for tour players and regular golfers. Approach shots. Statistically, the best approach shot player over the last 20 years is who? Thank you. That didn't take long. Number 2, driving. Number 3, short game. Number 4, putting. Do you think that Danny McCarthy, who is the best statistical putter over the last 20 years, would trade some of all that putting dough that he's got, because we do drive for sure and putt for dough, with some of Rory's driving dough? Okay? He'd be like, yeah, but I have like just a little taste of Rory's dough. Okay? Guys, we need to share that message with our students. And it's not true for everybody, but if they want to get better at playing golf, what do they need to do? Hit it better. Approach shots. The only reason why approach shots carry more weight than driving is because there's 18 of them versus 14. That's the only reason why approach shots carries more weight. And ask your students that. Let them get it wrong. They will. We have had out of 400 people, 8 have got it correct. However, 5 of those 8 came to a golf school where they were asked the exact same question every year before. And that's not to mention there's about 100 of them who were asked the same question and got it wrong again. Okay, so it shows you how good of a teacher I am. But approach number 1, Rory McIlroy. Driving number 2, Chris Riley. What school did Chris Riley play golf at? It was either UNLV or Ohio State. Some red schools. Was it UNLV? Okay, UNLV. And Denny. And just like have little nuggets, man. You seem so smart when you talk like that. Okay. It'll share a good message and help to perhaps shape their perspective on what matters. We've got to teach our students what matters. What matters? What are we talking about in the swing? The club face matters. But it's not like, hey, you'll look at the putting. Yes?
I used to do a little survey with parents and ask them that question.
Yeah. Oh. That'd be a big winner. That'd be a big winner, for sure. For sure. Another one I say to my students, I tell them a little story. Player A and player B. Player A says, oh, I'm horrendous out of the sand. I've got to start taking some lessons because I want to get my handicap better. And so player A goes and takes lessons and practices a bunch out of the bunker, and they get a lot better. Player B says, I keep hitting first into every par 4. I'm so short. Okay, I've got to learn how to hit the ball further. And so they take lessons and they go to the gym and they start to hit it like 12 yards longer. And player A, at the end of the year, is 0.2 better on their handicap index. And player B is 4.2 better on their handicap index. Why? When does being a better bunker player help you? When you're in a bunker, which is somewhere you're never trying to go. And it's only about 60% of the time. Because you don't always hit a better shot than the one you used to hit. Sometimes you still hit bad ones, even being a better bunker player. And so you get that much return on your effort. 12 yards longer helps you on the first hole, the second hole, the third hole, the fourth hole, the sixth hole, the seventh hole, the eighth hole. You see where I'm going? Okay. And so we've got to share that kind of information with our students so they start to understand, hey, I have limited time to work on my golf game. Let me do something that's actually going to move the needle. Let me do something that's going to make a difference to my game instead of like, well, you know, I read that, I've got to like open the face and spin this bunker shot a little more. No, just hit it 12 yards longer instead. Makes sense, guys? So, problem, and resultant problem. So this is Nate 2 years later, and I will give Nate deserves some. I want to put that there. If there's anyone who deserves a lot of credit, it's Nate. Okay, Nate was given the theme, club face, club anything, and I threw everything I have at his club face. And he picked it up and he ran with it. He went and he bought himself hack motion. Anyone have hack motion? Okay. He bought himself his own hack motion. And he was like, that was the key. I was like, oh, I had nothing to do with it, right? He's like, no, it was all hack motion. It was all hack motion. But we improved his grip, as you can tell. We got his feet a little wider because, you know, that's easy to stay back, and when it's a little wider, it's definitely harder to stay back. It really is like, I'm not going to bring like a mediocre upgrade and show you guys some mediocre upgrade. Right? Okay? This is going to, I've got to look awesome, man. I've got to get on track. I've got to do something. I've got to make myself. He's got Payne Stewart and Tiger Woods up there. I got Nate.
I noticed the right arm seems to be more relaxed than the previous.
Yes. You know, well, it's like you start that thing over on top, you know, and you go underneath more.
He's got what I call Byron Nelson floppy right arm, a floppy loose right arm, and a firm left arm like a Hogan.
I would prefer that. I prefer both, yeah.
Like a two-year-old.
Yeah. Watch. No face under the shaft. No face under the shaft. One more. Remember, it wasn't Nate, it was me.
Nice.
And a little help from hack motion. Yes, exactly. Okay. So here's the after. Here's the after. His primary bunker stat is he's in fewer of them. That's the best bunker stat. Dynamic glove. 2 years. This is 2 years later. Okay. And he had come back to a golf school in the middle year as well. So 21, 22. This is 23. Club path much better. I don't necessarily like. That's just like this shot. I'm not a huge fan of straight club paths. I like a little bit to the side. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I like this much better. Club speed is up slightly. Distance is up a ton. Simply because the ball goes, hey, nice, nice 8-iron. It's still too much. It's still too much, and you'll see in the impact picture. It's still for that speed. So at 90 miles an hour, I'm going to look for like 19 to 20 dynamic. So that's still too much. Okay. What do you think he's going to struggle with in delivering that much loft? What's that gonna? He's obviously going to hit it a little too high. But the quality of strike, if you get that handle back, that quality of strike is definitely going to be compromised. He can hit it better with this loft, but he's still going to be a little challenged in strike consistency when it comes to that much loft with that speed. That's kind of this is the money shot right here. But look at this, guys. You see this picture here? I was looking at this last night. Like, his hands could be more forward.
When was the last time you saw me?
Yeah, it's a picture on the left, is that starting position?
It looks like it, right? It's not. That's impact. Look at this. Look at how long his floppy right arm is.
I was looking, I can tell within the starting position.
Yeah.
I look at the player, I can tell which arm he uses most, because one's going to be straighter than the other one.
He had every reason to use his right arm more than any other limb on his body to get that face around. Okay. 2 years. Okay, 2 years. Yeah. This is Nate rocking in on day 1 in 21. This is Nate on day 3 in 23. Okay, to his 3-day golf school. The last time I saw Nate, I think Nate came again this spring, and he continues to make progress. But these were really nice kind of, nice looking changes, kind of easy to see. Every message that Nate heard was along these lines. Let me go through some of this stuff. Okay, so he had to get his grip stronger. Whenever someone gets their right hand climbing over, that right arm climbs over too much, I like to go this way. Put your left hand on and elevate the grip. Get the grip up. Okay, now get your right hand on top. You climb over that. It's not happening, right? So put that hand on there. Now all of a sudden that right arm can be softer, that right hand can be stronger. That's grip-wise what we changed. And then from there it was simply a message of I want the face tilting down to the ground. I want the face looking up to the sky. And I want it so strong that it looks open. Okay, I really want that thing super duper strong. And that's why the swing got shorter. Because when you get a lot of that radial going, that club head can keep going a long way. Whereas if you watch this, I like to get people to feel this, and we did quite a bit of this with Nate, is get a player to put their hands on the club, point it straight out in front of them, and then we're going to go down, ulnar, and away from the target. And so watch this. Keep that, take that up to the target, up to the top, and that's, good luck getting further than that. And that's how it got shorter. I didn't say, hey, Nate, we've got to shorten your swing. We've got to strengthen your face, and a product of that was a little shorter. But club speed's up, you can see the distance is up. I think he's misprobably, he definitely is a stack guy, so that's why the club speed's off a little bit. But that was not part of, I told him to do it, but that was not part of what we're talking about here.
Same club there?
7-iron, yep, 7-iron, both ways. I'm big, people come to my golf school, they wear out the 7-iron in the driver. Yes?
How much better is the score?
His handicap has come down quite significantly. Actually, he comes with his buddy from New Jersey, and they had every time they played, they were like best buddies, and they would play golf together multiple times each week, and they had a trophy that they kept score, like I won that match, you won that match, we're all square for the year, and they would keep score. And Nate kind of got into it a lot more than Mike did, his buddy. And Nate now, much to the chagrin of Mike has to give Nate shots, or the other way around. Nate has to give Mike shots. And so he has definitely improved, so much so that Mike is kind of like left in the dust a little bit, but they still have their matches and that. But Nate has definitely improved quite significantly. His handicap has to be, he plays at Ridgewood, which is a lovely, tough golf course in New Jersey. Most probably a 5 or a 6 in that range. Pretty good.
And he must have been a lot higher.
He was quite, he was not a single digit handicap. Yeah, he was not a single digit handicap for sure. He might tell you that, but don't buy that. Don't buy that. Aim left, swing left, little to no downward hit, even though they're swinging left, which is kind of weird. Normally when players, and Chuck said it earlier today, when players are swinging left, they'll hit down a lot. But what if you've got someone swinging a long way left and there's almost no downward hit, then you know face big. That face is open and they're doing all they can to scoop that thing and try to get, they're not trying to hit them up. They're trying to get the toe around and get the face square. Why? Why do open face golfers do all of this? Anyone tell me? Perfect. Okay. Why do I swing like that? I'm trying to hit it straight. You don't, but you're trying. Okay? You're trying, you're doing the best you can. You've seen that slide already. That's what that leads to. In this slide, I had aim left. They almost always aim left. Shut face players, See some shot-less players aim left too. They don't always aim to the right. They don't always aim to the right. That was left off there intentionally. Guys, I do want to mention just a little bit here, high smash. And I know the ping guys have been super generous with me. They're incredibly smart, passionate engineers who research every nth degree of the golf club and a club running into a golf ball. And they've been kind to share, I know, a lot of information with Chuck and myself. And they're not very high on smash factor. Neither am I. However, every now and then I'll take a glance at it, and you can see, like, this is just, I've got, like, you know, another eight to 10 more numbers underneath that, but I just had space to show you that. But I'll just take a cursory glance at smash factor every now and then, and if someone starts out and they hit their 4 or 5 7-irons, and you go, hey, that's kind of a nice number. Their highest smash when they started was 121, and now you get their face better, and they're ripping it out their 18 yards longer carry, and their smash factor is 142. Show them, okay? They're going to go, oh, that's good. Okay, that's good. We like that. We want them to feel good. And so smash factor, the ping engineers are not super high on it, but just know that it can be a nice number. For some reason, it's a cool word, it's a cool name, and golfers seem to like relate to it. You know, I must have cured that thing if it had a higher smash. Also, something to keep in mind pertaining to high smash, the type of clubs that people are hitting. Chuck's clubs, I-230s. This is a very neutral face. And what that means is, Chuck's going to get the ball speed out that he's earned. He's put a certain club speed in, he's got a certain hit, he's going to get the ball speed out. There's a lot of different irons out there that have this dive board technology where the face literally flexes as it runs into the golf ball, and it trampolines the ball out there, and the ball speed will go up, and as a result the smash factor will go up. Okay, so don't be super surprised when you see a 148 smash on a 7-iron when someone's getting their face shut. Guys, any questions on that? Okay, it is a cornerstone, it's got to be a cornerstone in a 3-corner building of importance. Okay, it is way, way up there when it comes to helping the everyday player. When we go outside, I'm going to talk quite a bit about just some different ideas and different things you can do to get the face stronger for your students. I didn't want to demonstrate that in here. I know it's quite difficult to see when you're in the back. So we'll talk about some of that out there. Fades versus draws. Chuck, when I wanted to ask a question earlier today. When you say a straight line plane, is that what you said? Okay. Could that be swing direction? Or is that not swing direction?
If you're sweeping the ball off the ground,
Okay. That would be like a straight swing direction. Okay. So, we have preferences, right? We all have preferences. Ultimately, I just want to help people hit it better. I want to make them happy. But my preference when it comes to a better player hitting shots is to get their swing direction to be relatively straight. With irons and driver. With all clubs. Relatively straight. Doesn't have to be perfect. But here's a little chart that I wanted to show everybody that I think is quite important, certainly for us to understand. And you can decide what you want to do with it. But swing direction, on the top, we've got irons. On the bottom, we've got driving. Swing direction, 0. Swing direction, 0. Sense, right? With irons, we want to hit down, 4 degrees down. That gives us, and note the way I'm going to say this, a resultant club path. It's not like, oh, you made a swing and your club path was this. You make a swing and you get a swing direction. Then you decide which segment of that direction to hit the golf ball with, and that might be 4 down. And your resultant club path is draws. draws with irons. I like to see better players, and I think we're starting to see it on that shot tracker technology on TV. I like to see baby draws on irons. And just my 2 cents, it doesn't have to be yours, but if someone comes to me and says, Andrew, I want to hit nice little tight baby draws on every shot, what should my club path be? 3 degrees. Give me 3. Somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5. Driver. That may be regarded as a little bit up, okay, but it is what it is. It works. Fades. Players making same swing, hitting the ball early in the arc, later in the arc, resultant club path draws, resultant club path fades, making same swing. Okay, it's why I firmly believe we are seeing so many more fades on this shot tracer on TV, which I think is very cool. Why I believe we see a higher percentage of fades versus draws. And I have measured that. I believe we're seeing that. That may not be the case. And if that is the case, I believe that that's due to attack angle being up. Guys, please don't, unless you've got a serious geek in front of you, and we all know those people, right, who are able to receive this kind of explanation, keep this to yourself, right? Just hang in the back here. Okay, don't try to explain that to someone about, oh, if you hit down, it's out, and up, it's in, they'll get their head spinning. Okay, but this is something that we should ponder. Like, what are your preferences? I would say this for driver, I'm like -1 to +3. For irons, I'm like +1 to -3 swing direction. Like, that would be my zone of preference. Any questions on that? I think that's a biggie. Everyone understand that? If you don't, shout. Okay, some fun stuff here. You heard me reference this earlier, and by some miracle, I think the timing is going to be good. Dynamic loft and speed, we've got to match those two up. Higher speed, lower loft. Why? Because if Scotty Scheffler is delivering 19 with a 7-iron, and Mr. Haverkamp is delivering 19 with a 7-iron, so many old golfers, that old Hogan image, that Anthony Ravelli pencil sketch drawing, hands are forward, everything's just beautiful, and particularly if you've got a 72-year-old golfer who was once really good, and they're going, I've got to get my hands more forward, my hands look back. Well, their ball's like getting 28 feet off the ground. No, not more forward. Not more forward, because that's just going to make it go lower. How about that? And so we've got to match those up. The slower the speed, we need more loft. And the more you start to just pay attention to that, you'll start to be able to calibrate. Like 80 miles an hour is, 21 to 23. 70 miles an hour is, I'm talking with the 7-iron. 70 miles an hour is going to be this loft. 60 miles an hour is going to be that loft. And that's what you're looking for. If I swing a 7-iron at 85 miles an hour, I should typically, rule of thumb, a very gentle rule of thumb. If I swing a 7-iron at 85 miles an hour, I should hit all the clubs in my bag approximately 85 feet in the air. Okay? Something you may not have ever thought about before. But if you've got someone who's hitting it really low, and they're, this shut face, handle way forward, driving the legs, trying to fend off the face, because their face is shut, they're trying to fend that face off. And guys, one thing I failed to mention, and I really did try to remember, but I have remembered right now. Open face golfers are trying to speed the face up coming into the golf ball. Shut face golfers are trying to slow the face down. The face is always on the way down. The face is always closing. Shut face golfers are trying to slow it down. That's why they get, what happens when I get the handle forward? What happens to the face? It doesn't want to close as much, right? I'm not going to say it opens, I'm just going to say the rate of closing. And this is not rate of closure, it's just going to close more slowly. Okay, getting my weight to my knees and everything more forward, keeping the right side back is actually going to slow down the closing of the face. Okay, and vice versa. Okay. Everyone make sense of that? Okay, that one? 80 miles, 70 miles, 70 feet. If you've got someone hitting it really low, really high, say, hey, come on, you should be in this ballpark. And then give them the goal. I had a guy in the golf school last week, he started at like 36 feet. Line drives, okay? Line drive with everything. That was the guy who was hitting 8 down, believe it or not, 8 down on his drive. Okay, you can imagine what he was doing on his 7. Gapping. A good little one to keep in mind is this. Take 10% of the ball speed with a 7-iron, and that's what people can anticipate. If someone's got 110 mile an hour 7-iron ball speed, they can anticipate an 11-yard gap. If someone's got a 70 mile an hour 7-iron ball speed, a 7-yard gap. Okay? Just little things that smart people have passed down to me.
Throughout the bag, or?
That is, yes, because that's the gap in between your arms. Yeah, that's what you can anticipate from a pitching wedge to a 9, to an 8, to a 7, to a 6. Hybrids and all that are going to be different, right? But just between the irons.
Is that from Painesville?
That is from, you see Chuck's bag?
Which one is that?
It's not, it's from the name on his bag. Pink. It's from the pink guys.
Your players have go ahead speed like 130 miles an hour. I'm just amazed at the gap between players that they can be so accurate.
Yeah. They've got the technology, right? They're really good, so they can repeat things. Good players are good for one reason, because they can do what they're trying to do, and they just go, yeah, watch me do this each time. And so they can repeat it, and as a result, they have, if someone's swinging a 7-iron at 100 miles an hour, you can have a ball speed of 135 to 140. So now you can anticipate 13 to 14 yards of gap between each club. It's a big, that's why so many slower speed golfers will come in and say, oh, I hit all my clubs the same. I'm like, no you don't. It's just, your 8-iron goes about this much further than your 9-iron. So it seems like it's the same, you know. Another challenge for the slower speed golfer. Wind reading. Note this is a goodie. Chris Brody, Dr. Mark Brody's son, engineer at Ping, helped me a lot with this one. If your golfer has a driver speed of 78 miles an hour to 95, LPGA speed, 78 to 95 miles per hour driver speed, and they're hitting into a 20 mile an hour headwind coming straight in their face, and they're hitting a full 9-iron, how much shorter is the ball going to go? 20 yards. How much shorter is a driver going to go? 20 yards. Every full swing in your bag is going to go approximately 20 yards less. It's a cool one to share with your peeps. Sorry? 20 miles an hour. So the change in distance is the MPH of the wind into a headwind. Tailwind, half as much. So a tailwind helps 10 on a 20 mile an hour. Golfers will typically overestimate the effect of a tailwind and underestimate the effect of a headwind. And guys, also something, and this is something I've researched, when the wind is coming out the player's right, they will swing more to the right. When the wind is coming out the player's left, they will swing more to the left. When the wind is coming in a player's face, what happens? They hit down more. And when it's behind them, they hit up more. Or down less. Yes?
I think at Coach Camp, sometime you presented on Garden Island.
Yes.
Has that changed since that year?
It has. Because that presentation was on tour speed, and that's the difference. I wanted to find something, and this is why one fairly famous golf person has left Twitter, because of this very topic right here. Golf strategist, about 10 years old. Does that tell you? How long is 10 years? It's a decade, right? Okay. Yeah, because they thought I was talking about tour players and I was talking about golfers. That's why the club speed is 78 miles an hour to 95. Believe it or not, if someone has a driver speed of less than 78, the wind effect is nominal. It doesn't affect their golf ball very much at all. So this is different. Correct. Height is massive when it comes to wind effect. Height is massive. And height is 100% correlated to speed. Yes?
How to gauge the wind speed? Because like, if I'm out there, how do I know?
There's an even better way than that. But I tell all my students, because none of them are going to go buy an anemometer like me, the geek, right? I've used an anemometer for almost 10 years. And so I can go out there and I can go, guys, how much wind is blowing? Okay, and they go, oh, it's like 25, 30. And I go, it feels like about 11. Hold that thing up. Oh, it's 10.8. Sorry, I was off. And they're like, that thing right? Yeah, get yourself an anemometer. $75. Kestrel on Amazon. $75. Great investment. And it's not like I'm some wind guru. I just have used that thing enough to know, well, this feels like it's about 11. Airline pilots are the only people I've ever taught who don't overestimate wind. Check your weather app for something close to where you're playing, or get a wind meter and just go with that. Whatever the MPH, as long as the driver speed is like 78 to 95, you're going to be fine. Okay, that is a MPH of wind to yards of shot.
Think you would about over 100 miles an hour, really?
Then it flips to, once you get over like 107 or something like that, then a better formula is percent. A percentage of the shot. If you've got 7 miles an hour in your face, 7% you need to add on. So it's obviously more. It's obviously more. Okay. If you've got high-speed golfers, that goes to a percent. Temperature, this is an easy one. Most of us and most of our students, I know I've got my system set to 75 degrees. We gather carry numbers at a set temperature, 75 degrees, kind of a nice temperature. For every 10 degrees warmer or colder, every club on your back will go 2 yards longer or shorter. Every 10 degrees, 2 yards. Okay, so the driver will go 2 yards. I mentioned humidity, which was a very interesting one to me, because everyone thinks when it's more humid, the ball goes shorter. The ball actually goes, the pin guy said to me, listen, if you hit a 250-yard drive with no humidity, it'll go 250. If you hit the same drive 250 on a very humid day, the ball will go 251.2. So, but you'll win the argument that it goes further in humid air, because the particles that make up humid air are actually less dense than just straight air. Golf ball. Guys, I think the most important piece of equipment that we use is a golf ball. And we don't give it enough credit. Our students don't think enough about it. If they're coming to you for a lesson, tell them this. They care enough to play a premium golf ball. What is a premium golf ball? It is one thing. It is a golf ball that has a urethane cover. Yep. They should play a premium golf ball. And Ping tests more golf balls than any other company on the planet. Because they want to know how the balls interact. They test range balls. They test, you name it. Any company you put out a ball, they're going to test it. They have a tremendous site that is a great resource for us and our students called ballfitting.com. And you can go on there, it'll cost your students $40. If you give them a code, AR Golf, I get nothing, just, okay, they'll get 50% off, it'll cost them $20. They can enter the kind of golf ball they play, answer a few questions about their preferences, and it'll give them they typically have 70 to 80 balls in the database. It'll give them the 3 best balls for them to play. Ballfitting.com, AR Golf, if you want to use it, have at it. Get your students 50% off, $20 off. Interesting one. The TaylorMade Tour Response, and the title is AVX. If a robot hits both of those golf balls with a Tour Speed 7-iron, the AVX, exactly the same, okay? The AVX will go 25 feet lower than the Tour Responsive.
How about this?
Don't know that one. On those two. I don't know that one on those two.
I've got a new AVX 2 years ago. Is this what it's called? I thought I was hitting it further.
Yeah.
10 yards further with a driver.
Uh-huh. I have never, ever for 1 second understood where the AVX should fit in the market. Sorry, Ty.